Good morning with Mharia in Scotland. So today I am getting round to doing the lemon balm tincture that I said I was going to do yesterday. I did leave the lemon balm leaves to wilt overnight just to get rid of more of the water. They've still got moisture in them. Lemon balm leaves hold about 80% of water in them, and the alcohol proof that I'll be using is 40%. So with 40% alcohol, there is 60% water already in there. And with your herb, if there's water in there, then it dilutes it even more. So today I will do a 1 to 3 ratio. So that means 1 part of the herb and 3 parts of alcohol. So for example, today with my wilted leaves, I weighed them, I have 53 grams of the wilted leaves. So if I times that by 3, I've poured myself 159 mils of the alcohol, and I will be using a 300 ml jar. So it does say 200, which is to there, but it's actually 300. So this is a calculation just to give me quite a nice strong tincture. You can do many ways. You can do a 1 in 2. With a dried herb, you can do a 1 in 5. France, they do more diluted, so they do a 1 in 10. But most herbalists like to do a 1 in 2 with fresh, or a 1 in 3, or a 1 in 5 with a dry herb, and that will give you a nice potent way of working with the medicine. You can also do it the folk method, which is just filling a jar 3/4 full and then filling it up with alcohol. And that is a great method as well, but you can't guarantee your strength. So as lemon balm leaves are, I'll just turn it around, are very light and fluffy, you need quite a lot. So there's 53 grams, which is quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is just chop them, and already I can smell that lovely lemon scent. And I will just pack this into my jar. So I'll just roughly chop. So I have my jar. I'll place it in, pushing it down. So as you can see, it's already filling its way up. Which is kind of 3/4 of the way full. So I've measured out my alcohol, and I will pour this in. So I'll get, you want to have the leaves submerged because you don't want them getting mouldy. I think I will need a little bit more, so this could possibly end up being a 1 in 4, or just under a 1 3.5. So I think that's a nice amount. Making sure that there's no air bubbles. And that's covered. Put the lid on. I need a different one. I'll get a different ring top. This is just slightly too big. And then what you will do is you shake it, and then you put this away in a dry, cold cupboard or pantry, whatever you have, and every day you would shake it just to make sure that the alcohol is submerging the plant material. And you would keep this infused for 4 to 6 weeks, and once that is done, you would then strain it out, and you would just then transfer it into a bottle. You would label it and date it. You could do the same now as well, so you know when you've dated it and when it'll be ready, and just checking on it every day. And if you forget a day, don't worry, just go back and just shake it. And I just want to talk about quickly why the tincture medicine is very powerful compared to just eating sort of a medicine or making a tea or a decoction, a cold infusion, hot infusion. So with plant materials, they're so sophisticated and complicated with their chemical components, and water alone can always draw everything out. So within a leaf, there's, even if you've made a water concoction, there's still a lot of properties that you just can't get. So within alcohol, it really breaks down the walls and it extracts so much more medicinally, so it makes it really potent. So for example, if you've got like one dropper full, which is a mil, that will be the equivalent to possibly 3 or 4 cups of tea. And with an alcohol, you would then put it under your tongue for a couple of seconds, and then swallow it, so it's already going into the bloodstream. You can add it to cold water, hot water, even though some people think the hot water will disperse of all of the alcohol. It doesn't. There's still about 85% of the alcohol there. So if you don't mind taking the alcohol tincture is just so much more potent. And particularly when, especially the lemon balm is so wonderful for calming the nervous system. So it's really great for people who suffer a lot of anxiety, even that go into panic attacks. So when you have a little tincture, you could carry it with you. If you feel that you're getting into a panic attack, or feeling stressed, you would just take a dropper full and then put it under your tongue, and that will help calm you down. And why it helps calm you down is because when your nervous system is on stress, high alert, it's going into panic mode. So it's going to fight, flight, or freeze. So we have like lots of chemicals in the brain, but there's one in particular called GABA. So when we get, it's a neurotransmitter chemical. So when we get stressed, GABA starts to get broken down. So it means that your stress levels are just like the foot to the brake, right down to the ground. So it's like really, really stressed. So when you have something like a lemon balm, that protects that GABA transmitter, that chemical, so it stops it from getting broken down. So it tells your brain that everything's okay, we're safe. So that's why you start to calm down, and this happens fast with tinctures. When you have a nice cup of tea, cup of teas are nice, but obviously if you're in a full-blown panic attack or just really struggling, you don't want to be having a conversation. Your brain shuts off, you can't think. You're not going to be making yourself a cup of tea. But cups of teas are nice if you're stressed, and that process of like boiling your kettle, getting your herbs with like in your teapot or your tea strainer, just that whole process of getting out your herbs, putting them in. With lemon balm, if you are making a tea, because of the high volatile oils, they will disperse in the steam. So I would make it in a cup of tea or put a plate over your cup. And just something else about why having a cup of tea is nice, because you've got like the warmth of the cup and just sipping it. So that will calm you down as well. But as it's going into the digestive system, that takes longer to break down. So that's why, tinctures are faster, but the cups of tea are just really nice to help support you. So depending on what sort of medicine you feel that you're needing, what kind of support you're needing from the medicine. Another great thing about the tincture seems to extract a lot of the compounds that help with the viruses, a lot more than what the tea would be. So particularly for people who have that herpes virus. And when I was doing a wee bit of research about that herpes virus, it's quite an interesting virus, how it's been, they reckon, for about 6 million years. It's been there with our primitive ancestor, sort of chimpanzees, monkeys. But then when there was that split to the different, like the humans, that part of the virus came as well. So it is somewhere in the DNA from our ancestors, and they reckon maybe 67% of the population carry that virus within them. But if you've got a really good immune system, you might never have symptoms. And they find that a lot of children get, sadly, the virus from maybe somebody who has it that doesn't maybe realise that they've maybe got the cold sore virus and maybe had like a little tingling going on, and they've kissed the little child who then gets that virus. So it is quite a contagious virus, but I just thought that was interesting in how it lives within quite a lot of people and they might not know. And cold sores tend to come out more when the person is run down or they've gotten the cold or the flu. So that's why lemon balm, and the research finds that because of the properties within the lemon balm, does seem to really, you can't get rid of that herpes virus, but you can stop it in its tracks and you can make it go dormant. It can go to sleep. So that's why a lifestyle is going to help you kind of just work with these things that might live in your body to help your immune system, deal with it and keep it at bay. So that's why eating well, sleeping well, having a varied diet with different foods so you're getting your vitamins and your minerals, working with your plant medicines, just really exercise, connection. We need connection in our lives to make us feel happy and feel good. So they will help protect us, but we're still human beings and we're still vulnerable. We're not immune to everything. So lemon balm is such a lovely one just to help you in your life to cope with stresses that we always go into anyway. And the immune system obviously doesn't like the stress because that weakens the immune system. And if you're stressed, you're not sleeping, then you're very vulnerable. But the nice thing about the lemon balm, as I said in my other video, it calms you, it helps focus you, but it uplifts you at the same time. So it is a really nice one to sip throughout the day. It's not going to like make you heavy and sedated. It's going to just make you feel quite relaxed and being able to cope with your daily life. And it's one that's going to help you relax enough to fall over to go to sleep. So that's why I think lemon balm is such a lovely one to have around. There is other things that you can have it as well. You can pair it with, if you want an iced tea, oat straw is quite a nice one as well. That's one that helps relax. The chamomile. So when you find with these stress related issues with the gut, because if you think the fight or flight, everything gets shut off, like your gut gets shut off because you're in danger and you need to run away for survival. But your body can't distinguish from getting chased from a bear to sitting at a desk getting stressed. So your body produces the cortisol. It acts the same way, but the thing is you're not having to run away, so there is no danger. And that's when you're able to sort of train yourself, when you're able to, like, if you feel that you're coming with a panic attack or getting stressed, it's to work with your breathing, having a tincture, work with your breathing, doing some grounding exercises, like 5 things I can hear, 4 things I can see, 3 things I can touch. There's like a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just getting yourself into your environment and out of your head is going to help with that. Also making sure that you're getting certain nutrients, because if your body is lacking, I think it's magnesium and B vitamins, I don't know if it's B12 and some other things, that your body goes into a state of anxiety and can actually cause a person to feel anxious. Obviously past traumas as well. So there's lots of things that can cause you to be anxious. But when you go into that panic attack, that's really fear, that your body is so scared that it needs to run away. And that's when that panic's coming in. It doesn't know what to do, so it freezes and could feel nauseated and sick and sweaty and hot because the body's just shutting down, like the stomach, and yeah, not nice, pleasant feelings. But you can work with this and you can start catching yourself before you go into a full-blown panic attack, if that's what that's what was ailing a person. Lemon balm is just so lovely. So I recommend just having a few things. So making a tea, drying it out. But the thing with the lemon balm, it does lose its scent very quickly, those volatile oils. So teas are nice. They can be stored, but they really kind of lose their potency within a couple of months. I've had them longer, but you do notice it does degrade. Having a tincture. The next thing I'll be doing is making a vinegar, because the vinegar pulls out the minerals and vitamins that an alcohol can't, or because the alcohol it doesn't like, or there's something within that process where the alcohol can't hold on to certain molecules the way that sort of the vinegar would. And because vinegar has a lot of water in it anyway, it's drawing out those water soluble vitamins. So that's one I would recommend having, as a nice vinegar. And you could take, if you're not into alcohol tinctures, you could just take your vinegar, 1 to 2 tablespoons in a big bit of water, because you don't want it to start eroding your teeth. So you can have it with hot water or cold water, and also you can put it over your salad. But when you work with the vinegar, just always make sure you have a glass of water afterwards. So we've got your tincture, you've got your vinegar, you've got your tea. So that'll be made with freshly boiled water, but not roasting. Allow it to cool down for a couple of minutes and then pour a table. I always like strong doses, so I think a good 1 to 2 tablespoons, that can be too much for someone. So a tablespoon, if you like, into a nice cup, maybe 200 mils, putting a lid over it to stop those essential oils evaporating, because they are medicine. And just sitting with the plant and touching the plant, smelling the plant is all good. It's going to help psychologically, emotionally, spiritually as well. So that's how you do a tincture, and you can work with any material. But if you don't want to work with the specifics, the high potency, the maths part, you can just do the folk method, and that is just getting your jar this size, a bigger size, packing it in with your herb. If you're using fresh, allow it to wilt, and then pack it in 3/4 full, and then just pour the rest with the alcohol, and tighten your lid, shake it every day or every other day, and leave it for 4 to 6 weeks, and then strain it out. And I like to transfer it into a glass bottle, and then if I was working with a tincture or I was giving it to someone, I would then put them in these small bottles, and you would take your tincture 2 or 3 times a day. Some, depending on what you're working with, again, you can take 3 mils, 5 mils, or just a nice 1 mil 3 times a day. So there's different ways to take it as well, and different amounts to take it depending on what you're working with. You can also make a nice, especially if somebody was prone to sore lips, you can use your tincture when you first start getting the signs of that tingle, and you would use that with either like a cotton bud or like a wee cotton wool, putting your tincture on it and just holding it over the area for 30 to 60 seconds. And you would do that every couple of hours for the first 24 hours. Obviously, when you go to bed, you wouldn't do that. But because you're working with the alcohol, it can irritate the skin. So you can actually just put a bit of coconut oil over that, or even better, you can make a nice lemon balm lip balm. So there's different ways. So if you are working with it with cold sores, remember you're wanting to do that for, it depends on where you are with your cold sore, but if you're wanting to catch it, you would do that for maybe 2 or 3 days. And then hopefully that would send the virus back into hibernation. If it has come out blistered, then you can work with that in a different way, either making a strong tea and dabbing that on with that cloth, and you can still work with a tincture, but the lemon balm, but also internally, taking the tincture internally is going to help as well. And that's going to really help support your immune system, your nervous system, your stress levels, which is going to stop outbreaks. So that's today's video. I hope that was okay for you. It is a little bit long today. I hope that you get round to making your own tinctures. If you have any questions, please do get in touch. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.